Imagine you're driving through a literal downpour, but your windshield wipers are only moving once every minute. You wouldn't be able to see a thing. The road would be a blur. Every second would feel dangerous. Well, that is exactly what is happening to your eyes every single time you sit down in front of a screen for more than 20 minutes at a stretch. And the worst part, most people have no idea it's happening. If you've noticed your vision going blurry after a long day, or that heavy, gritty feeling in your eyes that makes 3 in the afternoon feel like midnight, here is what nobody is telling you. Your eyes aren't broken. They aren't getting old. They are physically exhausted and trapped in a cycle of strain that modern life keeps making worse every single day. Doctors call it digital eye strain or computer vision syndrome, but the mechanism behind it is something far more specific, and once you understand what is actually happening inside your eye at a biological level, you will never look at a screen the same way again. Today, I am going to show you exactly what screens are doing to your eyes and the 3-step reset that takes less than 5 minutes and works immediately. Let's start with the blink. Blinking is so automatic that most people never think about it, but it is one of the most important things your body does for your vision. Normally, a healthy human blinks about 15 to 18 times per minute. That rhythm exists for a reason. Every blink is your eyelids sweeping across the surface of the eye like a windshield wiper, spreading a fresh layer of tear film across your cornea and rehydrating the surface tissue that your vision literally depends on. But studies show that when people stare at a digital screen, that blink rate crashes to just 4 or 5 times per minute. You are blinking less than a third as often as your eyes need.
And the blinks that do happen are often incomplete, where the eyelid only travels halfway down before opening again. A partial blink does almost nothing. The tear film doesn't get refreshed. Your cornea starts to dry out in real time. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what tear film actually is. Most people think tears are just water. They are not. Your tear film is a precisely layered biological structure made of 3 components. The innermost layer is mucin, a gel that helps the tear film stick to the surface of your eye. Above that sits the aqueous layer, mostly water mixed with proteins and electrolytes that nourish your cornea. And on top, covering everything, is an extremely thin lipid layer, an oily film secreted by tiny glands in your eyelid called the meibomian glands. This oil layer has one critical job, preventing the water layer beneath it from evaporating. When you blink fully, you squeeze those glands and release fresh oil onto the surface. When you barely blink at all, those glands sit dormant. The oil layer thins, the water evaporates, and within minutes you develop dry, unstable patches across your cornea where light can no longer focus properly. That is why your vision goes blurry. That is why your eyes feel scratchy and heavy. It is not tiredness. It is your tear film failing because your blink reflex has been suppressed by staring at a screen. But that is only half the problem. Inside your eye, just behind your iris, is a small muscle called the ciliary muscle. Its entire job is to change the shape of your lens so you can focus at different distances. When you look at something close, your phone, your monitor, your ciliary muscle contracts, squeezing your lens into a rounder shape to focus light onto your retina. When you look into the distance, it relaxes and your lens flattens. Think of this muscle like a rubber band being stretched. In youth, it is elastic and snaps back instantly. But the problem with modern life is that we spend 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day with that muscle locked in the contracted position. Imagine holding a bicep curl for 10 hours straight. Your arm wouldn't just get tired, it would cramp. That is exactly what happens to your ciliary muscle. After prolonged screen time, it develops what doctors call accommodative spasm. It gets stuck contracted and struggles to release. This is why when you look up from your desk after a long session, everything in the distance looks blurry for several seconds. Your ciliary muscle is cramped and needs time to let go. And for most people, it never fully does, because within minutes they are back on a screen and the contraction begins again. Then there is the environment, making everything worse. Most of us stare at bright, backlit screens in relatively dim rooms. Biologically, this is the equivalent of staring at a flashlight in a dark cave. The extreme contrast forces your pupils to constantly negotiate between the two. Your iris muscles working overtime trying to find a stable middle ground that doesn't exist. This constant adjustment is invisible to you, but enormously taxing on your visual system. On top of that, screens lock us into what researchers call sustained foveal attention, eyes fixed on a tiny, high-detail area for hours at a time. Evolutionarily, this pattern of vision was only activated when hunting or being hunted. Your nervous system doesn't know you're checking emails. It reads sustained tunnel focus as a threat signal and responds by raising cortisol,
tensing the muscles around your eyes and keeping your entire visual system in a state of exhausting high alert. So how do we fix this? Step 1 is the near-far shift. Hold your thumb about 10 inches from your face and focus completely on the ridges of your thumbprint for 5 full seconds. Then shoot your gaze to something at least 20 feet away, a tree outside, a distant wall, and hold focus there for 5 seconds. Go back and forth 10 times. This takes less than 90 seconds, and it forces your ciliary muscle through its full range of motion. Contraction, release. Contraction, release. It is the equivalent of stretching a cramped muscle. Done every hour during screen-heavy work, it prevents accommodative spasm from setting in before it starts. Step 2 is palming. Rub your palms together vigorously for 10 to 15 seconds until they feel genuinely warm. Then cup them over your closed eyes without pressing on your eyelids, creating a sealed dark space. Hold this for 60 to 90 seconds. The complete darkness signals your optic nerve to stop firing and enter a rest state. The warmth increases circulation around your eye socket and stimulates the meibomian glands in your eyelids, encouraging fresh oil production for your tear film. It sounds almost too simple, but the combination of darkness and warmth is one of the most effective immediate resets your visual system can receive. Step 3 is the peripheral reset. Fix your gaze on a point directly ahead and hold it. Then, without moving your eyes, consciously expand your awareness to the edges of your visual field. Notice what is happening at the very borders of your peripheral vision. Imagine your field of view widening like a camera lens pulling back from a tight close-up. Within seconds, you will feel something shift in your body. Your breathing slows, your jaw loosens, your shoulders drop. That is your nervous system moving out of the threat-focused tunnel state and into a wide, relaxed awareness. When this shift happens, your ciliary muscle follows. The spasm releases, your focus softens and resets naturally. Finally, what you eat matters more than most people realize. The central part of your retina, a tiny region called the macula, is one of the most metabolically active tissues in the human body. It burns through specific nutrients constantly. Lutein and zeaxanthin are the two most critical. These compounds act as a natural internal filter for blue light and oxidative stress inside your eye. Your body cannot produce them. You can only get them from food, primarily dark leafy greens like spinach and kale. The detail most people miss is that lutein and zeaxanthin are fat-soluble. Eating spinach alone does almost nothing. You must consume these greens with a healthy fat, olive oil, avocado, or eggs, for your body to actually absorb them. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA, matter equally. DHA makes up a significant portion of the structural fat in your retinal cells, and low levels are directly linked to worsening dry eye and faster macular deterioration. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines are your most efficient source. Your eyes are not passive organs. They are active, muscular, constantly working systems that require movement, darkness, and specific fuel to function properly. The strain you feel at the end of every long screen day is not inevitable. It is a signal, a precise biological message telling you exactly what your visual system needs. Tonight, add spinach with olive oil to your dinner. Tomorrow, when that pressure builds behind your eyes around 2 in the afternoon, stop. Rub your palms together, give your eyes 90 seconds of darkness. Then look out the window and let your gaze travel as far as it can go. Your eyes have been working for you every waking moment of your life. Give them 2 minutes back. If you found this useful, subscribe to Factospoke, and I will see you in the next one.